This video will show you how to make a Pareto chart in Excel. Excel has come out with a function that will automatically do this. I'll show you that function. However, we are going to walk through the process. I think it helps you understand what the Pareto chart is doing, the information that it's providing. Sometimes we can use technology to help us arrive at a solution, and the technology gives us the answer, but we struggle a little bit understanding the answer because we don't understand the process. So I'll show you how Excel does it for you. If you select the factors in this case and the frequency of the factors, you can go to Insert and then select the down arrow. I have Ch04. If you have an earlier version, you may not have this feature, but if you do, you can see there's under the histogram heading, there is the Pareto chart example. If you click on that, there you go. Bingo. Pareto chart done. You can lay the chart out however you want. Now we'll go ahead and walk through how we build this Pareto chart, and that will help you understand what we're doing with each of these representations, the bar chart, and then our line chart here. Get rid of that. All right. The first thing you have to do when you build a Pareto chart is to sort the factors by frequency from highest to lowest. So I'm going to select the factors and their frequency. Be sure to select both. If you just select frequency and sort it, you will mess this up. You'll attach the wrong frequencies to these factors and it'll make a mess out of your chart. You'll also notice that I'm just following the steps listed here, so when you do it, you can do the same thing. I'll go ahead to my Data tab once I've selected the factors and their frequency. I'll click on the Sort option. If I had selected these labels up here, I could have said my data has headers, but I didn't. So I'm working with the data in column B here, and I want to sort it from largest to smallest. So I'll go ahead and do that. Now, once I have that, now I have my big problems at the top. These are the factors that are occurring the most often, the factors with the highest frequencies. The next step we need to do is total the frequency. I'll just draw a little line here so it's visually represented as we move forward as a sum. I'll use the sum function, and I'll add these up. Now I want to calculate the relative frequency. In other words, misinformed about contract could have occurred all 283 times. We have 283 problems. Misinformed about contract is 165 of those. So the relative frequency, misinformed about contract, the frequency of that relative to the total is the number of times it occurred over the number of times it could have occurred. And we'll just make that an absolute cell reference by pressing the F4 function key. That way, I can go ahead and copy this down and get the relative frequencies for each one. Now I'm going to show you an Excel function here that will allow you to keep a running total, calculate the cumulative frequency. I'm going to use the sum function, and I'm going to go ahead and just sum this value all the way down. I have to type it in like that, so I have to complete the sum function, closing parenthesis. Then I go back in and place my cursor on the first reference, press F4 to make it absolute. That kind of sets the anchor there so that now, as I copy this value down, it keeps a running total. You can see as I press F2 here that as I copied it down, this reference remained absolute, so it set an anchor right there. But this reference was relative, so as I moved it down, it moved the sum down as well. So now I have my cumulative frequency, so I'm ready to make my chart in Excel. So I'll just put my cursor out here where there are no values around it. I'm just going to make the chart manually. I'm going to start by making, oh no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to start by making a two-dimensional column chart. Put that right here. And I'm going to go ahead and select data. I want to add some data. I'm going to put the frequency in there, so I'll put the series name as frequency, press the tab key, type equals, and then select my frequencies, being careful not to select the total. Now you can see I have a nice bar chart. Say OK. Then I'm going to do something that's going to be hard to see at first, but I'll point it out later. I'm going to add another set of values, and that will be cumulative frequency. Tab and press equals. I'm going to select my cumulative frequencies. You're not going to be able to see them. They're very small. These are whole numbers. These are just percentages. I'll say OK. I'm going to go ahead now and place my labels at the bottom. So I'll select that axis, select my labels. You can see it replaces the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the actual labels there. I'll say OK to that. Now, while I'm still editing the chart, I want to go up here to change chart type. And what I want to do here is I want a combo chart. I want two charts on the same chart. My first chart is great. That's the frequency clustered column. That's exactly what I want. And Excel has seen that cumulative frequency probably should be a line chart. I could select from a list of charts, but I'm going to stick with line chart. The problem here is I have to put this line chart on a secondary axis. When I do that, I'll show you, it creates an axis over here, which I can remove. I can go into the chart features and take that out if I want, but it's a good thing to see. So I have the cumulative frequency axis here, and this line is plotted on that axis. And then I have the frequency here, and the columns are plotted on this axis. So I can see that right here at about, that's 82%. So 80, we could back off a little maybe, and say that maybe the first two, maybe the first three fit our Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. 80% of the problem by 20% of the factors. So if we address this one and this one, misinformed about the contract and wrong product shipped, we'll take care of 71% of our problem. And that's what we want to see in a Pareto chart. We want to see where do we start the improvement effort. The fact that they changed their mind or they never received a phone call, we're going to deal with these issues last. In fact, in dealing with some of these issues, we might end up dealing with these. Sometimes customers perceive things differently than we do, and when we fix this, for example, shipping the wrong products might contribute to it took too long to receive the product. I mean, if you ship the wrong product, by the time they got the right product, it may have taken too long. So fixing these things, we have to reassess then the error rate. This is how you make a Pareto chart and how you interpret a Pareto chart in Excel.